It says waiting, but it'll be any second now that it should go.
Second. I'll hit the button for it.
It's on.
Let's try this. Welcome back to another episode of F1 Bros Science Podcast featuring Spencer Love and Jim Craft. California to Chicago, wherever else we can wind up. What's up, everyone? I think we're back. Sounds like we are. I hope we are. I'm going to record this. Either way, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, hopefully everything works tonight.
Yeah. We have RJ West with us tonight. What's going on?
How's it going, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah, I had a couple people call me this week and thought we were maybe playing a joke with you based on some stuff that's happened between you and I in the past. You know, were you guys screwing with them, or did you guys set it up and, you know, intentionally have it? No, that's not what we were trying to do. We just hadn't done one for a while, and everything crapped out on us, and all of our settings were, I don't know, we've played with it the last couple nights, and now everything's working hopefully good. So,
Bro Science did. We figured it out because none of us are audio producers or video by any means. So here we are. So are you guys all good with the fires out there?
Clear here today. Looks pretty good. I haven't died, so it's all right.
Great day. So what else has been going on since we've been kind of in a standstill with racing this year?
Fixing all my broken boats and getting them back out to their customers, and going to try to do a little bit of testing here in the next couple of weeks and work on whatever happens in 2021. Maybe one race, whatever. I don't know what the plan is.
yeah, hopefully we have some good stuff for 2021, because right now with the social media and everything else, there's just nothing. There's nothing to do. I mean, it's every chance I have to get fired up about something and be irritated about something, it's like that's almost something to do instead of normally we'd be like kind of have our heads down and get ready to go racing, and now it's, I don't know, there's just nothing going on. It's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions right now. I mean, it's a weird place we live in right now. Not just, you know, with the fires and everything else that's going on. It's a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, 2020 is definitely taking the cake for the weirdest of my 46 years on this planet. Stuff's going on from, you name it, man. Anything anymore, I'm not even surprised anymore. Like, oh, okay, what's next?
Yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be a pretty good New Year's Eve party this year somewhere, and I don't know. There hasn't been enough going on. It's
Probably better than Y2K. It might be better than Y2K.
That was pretty, and we all lived. I seen one today. It said, was it March 13th, Friday the 13th? We turned the clock back. The next day, all of a sudden, everything went crazy. They said the next time change coming up. We turn it back forward again. Hopefully, we get out of this vortex. I don't know, man. I'm over it. I know that.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping all those guys in Louisiana are okay. I talked to Dustin, I think yesterday, day before, and he said the hurricane was kind of missing him, but going by a lot of their family, I think through Missouri or Mississippi. You remember what he said? Missouri? Mississippi?
Yeah,
okay.
Missouri by me. They're good.
Yeah.
Mississippi and Alabama, it's in between them guys. So whoever's down there, I hope you're all safe, because, you know, hurricanes are pretty unpredictable. They take a turn and do what they want to do, kind of like tornadoes, and fires. What else we got going? No earthquakes, though, right, guys?
Be quiet, man. Be quiet. You can't say that.
No, I saw the other day there was a picture of you and Terry deck riding for Terry Clem. I think you said it was the first time that you deck rode for Terry.
First and only. I only rode with him one time.
Yeah.
One time. That's it.
No, a few years later, I said, hey, this guy wants me to ride in this boat. What do you think? I'd ride with him. And I did, and then after I came in, I'm kind of scratching my head, and you're like, well, I said I'd ride with him because the guy drives hard, you know. He's going to try and win the race. I mean, he might wreck trying to win the race, but he's going to win the race, you know, try and win the race. So I was like, well, maybe
Well,
it wasn't such a
You
good idea.
tell me if it was the same way for you. I liked deck riding until I drove something that went that fast, and then I hated deck riding because all I could do is look around the driver and wonder what the hell they were doing. I couldn't do it after that. I know you and your dad did it, but he was usually riding, right? You were wheeling.
Yeah, he was riding because he kind of his saying was when he quit racing. I don't know. 2000 he deck rode with me in 2001. I think was his last year racing, but. When he quit racing, he said, I have more dollars than cents. And he, when he was deck riding for me, we were the second or third heat at Depew, and he's beating on my back with his fist and pointing, go. And I'm like, no, it's windy, it's bad. Like we just need to finish right behind this boat that's passing us, and we win the nationals. We came in, and he's, oh man, like kind of pissed off and. Like, what's wrong? He's like, I'm like, we just won the Nationals. Like, we did? I thought we needed to beat him to win. I'm like, no, we just needed to finish right behind him, and we were good because it's a 3-heat format. But, no, I mean, you and I had a lot of fun, made some good road trips back there with Bill and everything, going to Depew, and I don't know, there was a lot of good memories back there. And I got my first, other than an A-Hydro ride, I got my first OSY ride through you. You had a spare boat and let me run it.
Shadow Cliffs. Yeah, I remember.
The sled.
The sled. Hey, it wasn't a bad boat though. That thing was all right.
It was cool, but I mean, it was just it's funny because it was a lay down boat, and and then later you get into a kneel down. You're like, oh, it really didn't need to be a lay down, but when you got into the class, like you were tiny too. I mean, even tinier than you are now.
Sandy grew up. So for the rest of us in the F1 world or Thunderbolt world, what's deck riding? It's new to me. I mean, I've seen pictures from both you guys, but how's that?
Sidecar on a motorcycle. The idiot that leans off to the side and doesn't get to control the throttle. That's deck riding only in a boat. So it doesn't even make sense. But it was fun to do when I was 16 because you were doing 100 miles an hour just about. So it was awesome. But now I look back and wonder how the heck I lived. Honestly, I mean it's crazy stuff.
Especially deck riding for Terry.
Yeah. One time, though. That was it.
I honestly think that's the only time I've ever deck rode was just the one time. After that, you and I talked a little bit, and you're like, well, I didn't say it was going to be safe. I just said if I was going to deck ride for somebody, it'd be him because at least he's going to try and win the race.
Well, you remember our trip up to Yelm that one time, and Brad Gessler wanted me to deck ride up there, and I really, really, really did not want to do that, but I rode with him. I think we broke anyway, but I think that's probably the last time I sat in the back of a boat was that weekend.
Yeah, no, I think you and I did. You and I did some kind of marathon race together, like a handoff or something. Yeah. We weren't in the boat at the same time though, were we?
Yeah. We ran the C Runabout with two-man mod because we went to Bakersfield and we had to go set the course. So you and me went in your dad's C Runabout, and we went like 61 or 62 with it, and so we figured we could compete with the mod guys. I think I crashed it. Spencer did fine, but I rolled it with us in there. So
no, I don't think so. I don't think we crashed. I don't remember how it went, but I'm sure we pissed somebody off by doing it. But
yeah, they didn't want us to run because they said you had to have at least 40 cubic inch, and we said, so you're not going to let a 30 cubic inch run with the 40? Is what you're saying? But they let us run anyway. But
well, at the time, I think you probably weighed 119 pounds or something. I probably only weighed about 130.
Yeah, we probably didn't make C Runabout weight together.
No.
I think we were probably under C Runabout weight.
Yeah. No, weight was definitely in our favor back then.
So could you throw weight?
As you're shoving your mouth full of food right now.
It's pretzels.
That's why I went to a V6.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I can't.
Now it's crazy how we've kind of followed each other throughout all the years. The first race I ever met Spencer at was I ran a runabout with them up at a lake in Merced, middle of California here, and they needed a class, and they brought 18 boats to the race, but they needed someone else to run a runabout, so that's how we kind of started hanging out back in the day.
Yeah, it was cool back then because, I mean, we would, I don't know, your girlfriend, now wife, would videotape everything, and we'd all sit in your motorhome and watch movies and study what we were doing. And I mean, that was a big help for us as drivers starting out, like being able to watch what we're doing and where we were making mistakes and where we were getting beat. And I mean, that's something that I'm pretty sure you continued to do and always did. And a lot of people don't really do that and pay attention to what they're doing. They go out and come back in and, oh, I got beat. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was educational.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all formed us into what we are now, to be honest, one way or another, good or bad.
Well, the good part back then is we had 5 different classes that we used to race. I mean, I always had at least probably 5 when I was racing the kneel down stuff. I'm pretty sure you had at least 3, or some weekends 5, some weekends more. And so, I mean,
well, I started like kind of moonlighting my brother's 45 at that time because he had the 2, so I kind of was running that a little bit. But then C20, OSY, and then maybe a runabout or whatever at that time. And I think I was just getting into 350 as well, but it's too much. Can't do it.
That was the neat part back then. Is if
better.
What's that, Tim?
You're saying setting down and strapping in is better than sitting on your knees?
I'll tell you right now, when I decided to go this way, was my brother was already running 45, and I was at a race running 350 hydro, C hydro, OSY, and I crashed my 350 hydro and had to give it to a guy to get fixed. Anyway, long story short, it's dark. I got shit everywhere all over the ground, and I'm looking around going, what the hell am I doing? My brother's tied down, drinking a beer, and I'm supposed to be having fun, and that was literally a race that I changed my whole mindset. And at that point we could pool our resources and have the same races and all that. And that's the day that I decided to go to 45 and OPC. So I mean full time obviously, but yeah, that was it. So it's got to be fun. We don't make enough. We don't make anything out of it. But, it's got to be fun. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. And I got to that point with that. So
right. Definitely not making nothing, but hey, we do it because we love it, right? I mean,
yeah.
But that's what we do.
Yeah.
Country, because it's not like we can go to a local track on a Friday night like a dirt car guy, which would be so cool if we could, but we can't. So
yeah,
kind of unique what we do. Not everybody can say they've done this. It's a little bit different than driving a car.
Our sport is the hockey of motorsports. You got to see it in person to really, I mean, it's cool to watch on TV, but it's like when you see it in person, then the light goes on, and it's like what these things are doing are kind of defying physics. To be able to go that fast and make a turn and not split in half, it still dumbfounds me how these things don't just split in half when they go into a corner like that. But it's definitely unique and really, really fun to watch in person.
Right, to think where they started before they set the tunnel down and set it deeper, and all that stuff that they did back in the 70s. The V bottoms suck. We need to make two little boats, something in the middle, and so on to where we are today. Yeah, you're right though. I mean, the pressures and stuff that those inside sponsons take in the corner is just I can't imagine what the actual number would be.
No, I'm sure there's the sensors out there. Brendan could probably help you out with that, but I mean, it would be interesting to see what kind of forces. And I mean, honestly, from my point of view, it would help with the building of the boat to learn where you could, skimp or have to make it way beefier or whatever. But it's just kind of, I mean, we're just starting to scratch the surface as far as data goes compared to other motorsports. I mean, 10 years ago we were still dragging a Keller Speedo, and with stopwatches, and now we have what seems like unlimited data. It's we're in kind of a metamorphosis of what's going on with racing right now.
Oh, I can vouch for that. I took my hiatus from going from 45s in the 90s and then coming back, and now it's like, what's this AIM stuff and all these sensors and what the hell does this thing do? I mean, I'm glad I got a teenager son that can figure that out, because it looks like I'm reading Chinese when he pulls that up on a thing and he points it out to me. It makes sense, but if I had to do it, I'm like, yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah. You know what though? That's where we need to go. I think to interest the new generation, that the old guys that would smell the exhaust tuner to set your jets, those days are over, and now if you can have a kid look at your motor on an iPhone, that might interest them, and get them into it. It's something that is definitely the future of what we're doing, and it's gotten very reasonable in cost, honestly. I mean, these systems 10 years ago would set you back half a boat. Now you could go get stuff for under $1,000 and learn everything you need to learn.
Right. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. These kids, younger generation, they're into the electronics and the tech, and they can look at it on their phone or plug a laptop into it and have fun with it. And if they're not having fun, they're not going to do it. And my son's loving it. Like the data part of the boat. Like when we pull the boat out of the water, I'm like, take the prop off. He's like, I need to plug the computer. I'm like, no, you need to take the prop off. Then you can plug that stuff in.
Hey, I mean, when I was working for Qatar, we had a guy that was basically his job. Was to mull over the data and narrow down the propellers and then debrief with the driver. I mean, it's serious. If you can get into that, the data doesn't lie. Your rear end will lie, your head will lie, all that stuff you feel will lie, but that stuff doesn't lie. So it's definitely, you need it, but
100%. It definitely leaps and bounds. I mean, the stuff you can do. I mean, just in Springfield this year, we gained 9 seconds just by looking at data stuff and changing this or that. 9 seconds is huge. It wasn't enough, obviously, but it was.
It's the right direction.
Right. Yeah, we didn't go 9 seconds behind.
Yeah.
And then understanding what you're looking at. Some of that stuff, like I said, I'm not a scientist when it comes to that data crap, but when I look at the thing, like, okay, I get it. But if you had somebody that actually can break it down for you, you're golden.
Mm-hmm.
Gold.
You need a translator from smart guy to dummy. That's what I need.
Right. Dumb driver to smart guy that can plug computer in.
No, it's one thing. Like with my little brother, that's where he would be nice for me to be able to get him involved in racing again, because a lot of the data stuff we use, he'd be really good at it. Because that's like when we work together at work, that's the kind of stuff that he does, and it's I don't know. You definitely got to be interested in it. And when I was younger and we were racing kneel down stuff, I was interested in all the data and I could figure the stuff out. And now, I don't know. It's just. It's different. It's nice having somebody like Tim said, like his son's into that, and it makes a difference. I feel like you never lost that interest, and you've always been good at paying attention to your data, studying your data, and learning how to use the data. And I don't know. I kind of got lost on that a little bit throughout the years.
Everyone's different. There's a lot of things going on, and it's. Right now for me, it's kind of what I do. So I need to learn that stuff, to help with, developing a boat and all that kind of stuff. So, it's kind of what I do. So I can kill a day at the shop and just stare at the computer and run over props and stuff like that. And it makes sense for me. So.
I mean, that's a great thing too. Just like with the data, once again, one prop, you're like, oh, it felt great. Well, like you said, data don't lie. That prop was a piece of shit, but it felt great.
The last time we went testing at Bakersfield, I took off and I made a straightaway and a half, and my buddy Tim, Scruffy Tim's filming, and I can hear Chuck say, RJ said that thing's a piece of shit, and then I run it for a few laps, I come in, and I go home and I call Chuck the next day, and I'm like, well, that thing's like the second best prop we had, but it, like you said, until you look at it, you have your sensors are your ears, and if the RPM's low, it's hard to sense that the boat's moving or whatever. So, what are your natural sensors might not be sending you in the right direction. So you look at the data, and I'm proved wrong. And I've been proved wrong by the data tons of times, and I'm okay with it because it's how we move forward. For sure, it's proved me wrong a lot. So
well, what's funny is a lot of times you go out there based on feel, and you're like, oh yeah, this sucks. And you're like, well, that was scratching the surface. Like you're right there, and you're like, oh crap, okay, I'll go out and run this prop again one more time and see what it does. And so I've kind of definitely learned to stick with it and see it out, maybe only for a lap or two, but see it out a little bit and make sure that my mind's not playing tricks on me.
Well, that's what Tim hates it when I know what propellers are going on the boat. He wants me to not have any preconceived notion of what we're putting on the boat. So that way I know this one's good, so I'm going to drive it hard, and I know this one's junk, so I'm not going to give it a fair shake. So if I don't know what's going on there, I got to figure it out on the fly. And it kind of makes sense too, but
Yeah, it's leaps and bounds from just 10 years ago to now, and then we just push on from there to, boat construction and boat aerodynamics. And that's way out of my league. I have no idea. I get a concept, but yeah, I'll be like, yeah, that's right. That's what he said.
I like aerodynamics. I've always been kind of fascinated with airplanes and stuff like that, and so I've done a lot of reading and like if you look at my boat, I got all these goofy vortex generators on there and stuff. But we've done some tests with ribbon tests and all that kind of stuff, and some of it does make a difference. And it's all low velocity stuff that I've been dealing with, because again, we're so unique as a motorsport. You got a car with 4 tires flat on the track and good traction or bad traction, and obviously you guys know this already, but the fact that the track can change over a series of laps, whereas our track changes every 10 feet. I mean, it's always different. There's nothing the same about any lap that you make. So it's crazy that you can actually make a lap within a couple tenths of each other, knowing the parameters that we have. It's always kind of mind-boggled me when I get 2 laps that are really close. I'm like, how the hell can I do that? I mean, there's so many outside. We don't have walls. We have buoys. I mean, it's kind of amazing that you can get that close.
That's a good analogy. Like you said, it changes every 10 feet. You go to the corner one time, no problem. The next time there's a hole in it, or whatever. And you said keep it consistent and within tenths is pretty amazing. Really,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, then sometimes you get to the buoy and it's not there anymore because somebody else took it out.
Use your imagination.
It's not like it's not like a road course where the road's always there. It's not like somebody's going to take out the road.
Right.
Well, and I mean, even like if you go to most racetracks, guys, they'll hang little flags off of the side so people have the braking points and stuff like that. Well, I mean, we don't have brakes per se, but we have trim, so we don't have any of that. I mean, it's all got to be by feel, and your trim is your braking point. So it's just kind of, again, it's a really unique motorsport that should be a lot bigger than it is. But
yeah, just one of these days we'll get that platform, and once people do see it that never seen it, like I had the option of growing up in Kankakee, so pretty much everyone in that town knew what these things were. Like you drive down the road on a road trailer and you stop at a gas station. What's that thing? Is that one of them salt flat bikes? No, it's a boat. And you tell them about it, and then when you get to a race site, the new fans show up and see it. They're just like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I mean, I always say the hardest part about what we do is, as far as promotion goes, it's hard for the common person. It's hard for someone that doesn't do it to relate, because like people watch fishing tournaments because they fish, or they watch NASCAR because they have a Toyota Camry. But with us, there's very little that you can relate to, about what we do. I mean, no one has this. So, I mean, I guess it has a Mercury on the back, but I mean, it's not like what anyone else does, so. But you know what? I'll be honest. I think we are getting a little bit of a fan base in the Midwest after having that race. This year, I've been getting Facebook messages from people all over Ohio, and friending me and stuff like that. So, if we keep working on what we are working on, and slowly build a fan base, maybe it can turn into something.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I mean, it's a slow roll, but we are moving forward, considering where we were 3 years ago to where we are today. I mean,
absolutely.
We shouldn't say 2020. We put that as a wash, but
yeah.
So
I mean, from the outsider, everyone has gotten way more professional. I mean, like the pits are starting to look like mid '90s Formula One again. I mean, it's. I don't know how the right way to say it without offending anyone, but it's kind of gone away from the backyard, let's have fun, to people are getting serious about it, and with that comes professionalism. I mean, it's just natural progression.
No, it's like I was telling you the other day. It's kind of that even kind of bleeds into at night at the races. Like I don't know, in the past, some of us, maybe me included, have possibly drank a little bit too much and stuff, and it's like there's a lot more pressure on all of us now to be good at night and wake up the next day ready to go, because that there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen that day, because there's a lot more boats, a lot more intensity. I mean, it's all ramped way up the last I don't know, last couple of years especially, but
Yeah, I mean, it's still fun. I mean, obviously it's still fun, but it definitely has become more intense. And you got to realize, you're not just you're trying to preserve yourself, but you're trying to preserve the other competitors too. And make sure everyone's safe. So, I mean, I think it's going in a good direction, but time will tell. So.
I think, like you said, the professionalism. You look around the pits more. It's more not so much t-shirts and shorts kind of thing. Everybody's got crew shirts, and it's a professional. It's Formula One. It's not whatever you want to call it, backyard racing. I mean, it's where it started. That's where the roots are. But Formula One's Formula One. You got to keep it, with the namesake. It's the pinnacle of the sport.
Well, I mean, we're the product. So, as Tim's trying to sell us or Dana's trying to sell us, we have to help him out, because if we want to get better, we got to be better. So, I mean, and like I say, by and large, I think everyone, even lower budget teams, are doing what they can to look good, to look the part, and that will help in the end, because they got to sell us somehow, and you can't sell it as mud bogs. I mean, you can't throw the trophy queen in the mud pit after the race is over, like those dudes used to do on TNT. I mean, like you say, we're trying to sell it as Formula One, so we have to kind of act like it, but still have fun. I mean, that's still the personal part of it has to happen too, and personalities are the other thing that we have to sell. So I think that we have some personalities in the NGK series for sure.
We have them every direction. You name it, we got it. We have.
Yeah.
some of them might even clash sometimes. I mean, but
Well, and then Timmy's been paying me and Spencer to kind of get on each other's bad side, because there's got to be some sort of rift to make people watch. So, I mean, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we've been making pretty good money, being enemies for the last year or so. So
that's how I've been able to afford to go to the races. All the money I'm making on that, yeah.
Damn, I mean, I got to run to somebody. All right, cool. Check.
No, I mean, you look at NASCAR. The year I was born, 1979, that was one of their first big televised races, and I think he was Cale Yarborough and one of the Allisons, and there's one of them hitting his head against the other guy's helmet or something, and that's one of the good highlights from way back in the day. And then after that, the sport kind of started taking off even more. I mean, I don't know. Disagreements aren't a bad thing as long as we keep our emotions in check and care about each other at the end of the day. So, I mean,
I personally have let it get out of control. I know that, but it's hard to be, you always say it, when a guy gets out of a race car or whatever and you stick a mic right in his face, that's when he's going to be the most pissed off before he has a chance to compartmentalize everything, and so, I mean, yeah, I know I've done dumb stuff. There's no doubt about that, and it's hard to let stuff go sometimes, but you have to, because otherwise you can rot away from the inside,
Well, I can't say I've done anything dumb, but it's definitely hard to let things go. No, I'm just kidding. I've done a lot of dumb stuff.
That's why it's called racing,
Yeah.
Racing's racing. There's going to be shit happens, Stuff's going to get tore up, unfortunately. That's part of the thing. They do it in cars, they do it in bikes, they do it in, obviously, boats. It's nature of the beast. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, otherwise we just go do time trials and pack it up and go home. But no one wants to watch that. They want to watch a race, and I want to watch a race. I know, that I love watching a good race. Even 3 or 4 laps and guys diving inside and outside. I mean, especially being a part of it. You can appreciate what they're going through at that point in time. So. And generally, there's a winner and a loser, and there's going to be a happy guy and a mad guy. I mean, it's just what it is, man. It's just what it is.
Well, that's the thing is, back in the day when we ran stock stuff and stock and pro stuff together, like we'd both run 4 or 5 classes, and so at the end of the day, if one of us had a bad race with the other one, that there were still 3 or 4 other classes that we had a chance in, and it didn't really sink in sometimes, and you knew you had a at the end of the weekend, I wanted to walk away winning something, and so did you, and usually we always did. And, now racing one class, it's all the pressure, all the hype, it's all on the one class. So
Yeah. That's
But I
true.
mean, you want to race
And,
against people that want to win too. So I mean, it's not a bad thing. So
well, I mean, it's, you know, you want to beat everybody. You know, I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, I guess everyone's in a different spot. You know, everyone's got their own race that they're racing against. I mean, I even tell new guys at the beginning, you're racing against yourself. You're not racing against anyone else. Like you said, Tim, you got 9 seconds better. Your first race in that boat, you know, in competition, you weren't really racing anyone other than yourself. No championship on the line. You had to get better and make improvements. And in the end, that's your race, you know. But I mean, everyone's kind of got a little bit, I guess, different agenda to a point. So it's hard to put all those guys on the same track and try to figure it out.
Yeah, you kind of put that in perspective. You know, like I was racing myself, trying to get better. New boat, new everything. 9 seconds is huge. Obviously, I got another 4 to get, but you know, just 9 in that weekend on, you know, changing this or that or, you know, adjustment here or there. It's huge. And
the problem is the 9 seconds is the easy part. It's the last 4.
right. Yeah. It's like, oh, it was running on 4 cylinders. You put 2 more in there. Look at that.
Yeah.
It happened. New boat, new gremlins, you know, all that stuff. It'll work its way out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I enjoyed the race because it was to me kind of a low pressure race. You know, I mean, it was a race that I wanted to win. Everyone, you know, wanted to win, but it was no championship, nothing was on the line, you know. So it was kind of like just good testing with boats, and yeah, I mean, obviously I wanted to win at the end, but I mean, it was a good. We had to do it. I think I know Spencer didn't go, but I think we had to do a race. You know, I mean, we had to do a race. We couldn't go all year without having a race. You know, so
agree, 100%. We had to put something out there, and we did, and it was a race. And
yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we got one in.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, for me, for what it was going to take to get out there and everything for just one race, I don't know. I felt like I had to be an adult for once and make an adult decision. And I'm trying to sell my house and build a house, and it was a good opportunity for me this year to try and get going on that. But I don't know, waiting on my architect, and that hasn't been going as good as I want it to go. But
Right, and plus,
I mean,
COVID.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million reasons not to go, and most of them are really good ones. But you know, I mean, it was good just for the sport to get a race in and to prove we could do it during COVID, because there's nothing to say that this isn't here come May and we're trying to race in Nietzsche's. I mean, we got to figure out how to do it. So we needed to have some sort of template before we started next year.
on a lighter note, Scott Economy thinks that you and I did beat Old Man Morris and Stephanie in the Sea Runabout when we were out there.
I got enough enemies. I don't even want to talk about Old Man Morris and Stephanie because I could get bitched at again here. So we crossed that bridge last year, and when we raced in Colorado about the B stock runabout and her and Don Morris and everything. But maybe he's right. I think we took second. I think one boat beat us, but I think we took second.
I haven't seen any of the comments. We have a bunch.
There's a couple.
I think people are just too enamored with this unbelievable interview to even type anything right now.
Yeah.
You got to listen.
They're dumbfounded.
I can't believe it worked.
Yeah, you should see the rule book that we printed out for both of us before we started. That's why it got delayed, because he and I were both still reading the rules the other day when we were trying to air it. So
Yeah, we had to make a level playing field. So we said that it was technology, but not what. They both had to learn how to read.
Nah, it's all good, man. I'm glad we're doing it. I'll be honest with you. You know, I didn't want to go through a season trying to avoid people and not see people because I don't know what to say or anything like that. You know, I mean, I'm really glad. You know, honestly, I think I got no personal beef. You know, I mean, I just think we raced hard, and you know, I mean, it is what it is in the end. We've been racing against each other for what, 20 years, 25 years. I mean, who else in that group has done that? That's the problem. We've been racing against each other for all those years. So
no, there's just definitely a magnet sometimes that just tends to pull us both together at times, and it makes things difficult.
California thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we had you on, and we're having a good time tonight. There's not a whole lot to talk about in the F1 world, honestly, other than chit chat here and there. And I mean, I heard there's a race somewhere overseas this weekend, maybe.
I don't know. I think they're going to try to do an F2 series, abbreviated series. They're on their way to Lithuania, I believe.
Yeah, it's when I was looking on Facebook. I seen a few teams were headed there, but I'm not that familiar with any of that stuff over there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fairly low turnout. Some of the guys are still not able to travel out of their own country, but I think Sammy Silvio is going to run F2. I think Sean was trying to, but Abu Dhabi didn't, just kind of bowed out of the year, I guess. I don't think they're going to run. So just some guys are trying to get their feet wet and stay sharp, I guess. I don't know. But
I mean,
we'll see how it goes.
It's good they can get a race turned out, I mean, get, kind of like we did over here, get something in,
Well, they raced in Norway when we ran in Springfield. They raced in Norway, and it actually got shut down the second day due to COVID. Some issues, someone complained, whatever. Anyway, but so I think all they did was the top end shootout and match races. But yeah, I mean they're trying now. Same thing. They got to figure it out. I heard France is shut down till March 31st of next year. I don't know if that's true or not, but that puts a kink in the F1 H2O season. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's I mean, with all that being said, we pulled it off this year with Dana. We got out of there. The health department was all over us. We abide by the rules. We got it. We were in and out.
Had the shower curtains up in the golf carts, and we're all good.
We had a couple of comments about the new 4-stroke that came out, but I don't know. I don't really feel like it for us. For me, it's too soon to say anything about it. I'm excited that Mercury's working on stuff for us, and I think it's neat that there's more of a future for us. I mean, I don't see anything changing for us over here the next year or two. I can personally see Europe obviously getting into it a little sooner than us, and I don't know. But I'm excited they're working on something. I mean, from my standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see that a factory is making race stuff for circuits, instead of just offshore stuff. So, I mean, that's, that gives you a little bit of hope, and I mean, yeah, it's probably expensive, I mean, but probably when the S3000 came out, people were going, oh, damn, that's expensive. I mean, it's inevitable. Change is inevitable. And, I mean, you'll tackle it when it comes. I think they were supposed to start 2021 with that motor, before the COVID stuff, working out some sort of plan. I think what they were going to try to do is do like a lease program, gold, silver, bronze. Gold is run it as much as you want at home at the races, bring it back with rods hanging out of it. Silver is all the testing at the race or a certain number of hours, and bronze is race only and race practice, and try to make a budget for all the teams. But, we're not going to see that V8 here. They've already kind of said that the next version is a V6 version of it, which is probably going to be what eventually might be introduced here at some point is what I'm gathering. But, like you say, Spence, it's not happening next year. It's not happening the year after that, so we just keep our eye on it and keep doing what we're doing.
No, and it's exciting because I don't know, a lot of people complain because you can't go buy a new motor. Then they come out with a new motor, and then you hear people complain about the price. So I don't know, you can't make everybody happy. It's just, I think it's a great.
That's the ticket right there.
Great thing.
He said, not everybody will be pleased about anything. That is the one thing I can gather out of 2020 and reading Facebook. No, but not two people will not be happy about the same thing. That's just what it is. So, I mean,
I'm pretty good at ignoring Facebook, but like this year, there's nothing going on. You sit at home, and I don't know. I know you don't drink, but a lot of us drink more now than we did before. And so you're sitting there, you're looking at stuff, and the other night, I'll give you a lot of credit because you took a a Facebook thing that was going back and forth down, and I was on it with you, and I'm not embarrassed about anything I said, but it's the only thing I want to say is it'd be nice if all of us thought about what we're saying, because it's not just what we're saying to each other, but it's what everybody else is seeing out there, that it makes us look good or look bad, and it whatever both of us said, we felt good about, and we talked about it the next day, but I think it was a good thing that you took it down, just because people don't need to be reading that. I mean, that's conversation that needs to happen probably for some of us, not necessarily on Facebook or, but it's hard. There's just nothing going on, and we're all getting bored.
Well, it's food for thought, and we kind of talked about this the other day. I don't just think of stuff and post it. I mean, I get messages and phone calls, and people go, "Hey, this happened at the race. Did you see this?" Or send me a GoPro, or send me a picture, or whatever. And so I don't just think of it, and I actually get people calling me and asking me stuff. So some of that stuff is just to read the temperature of the room and see what other people that we race against, our peers, think of this stuff. And when it turns bad, I don't want to look at bad stuff. So when it starts getting chippy for whatever reason, then that's the time to take it down. But at least to put it in people's heads, there's things that we got to think about. We can't just be status quo all the time. And maybe we don't have to change anything. But if enough people think we have to change something, then where do we go from there? So, I mean, I don't just post stuff to be a dick or whatever. I mean, it's for a reason, so.
Well, that's the hard part about 2020 is too many people have had too much time to think and not enough time to do stuff too. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are calling you and giving you ideas, because they're not busy thinking about how to make their stuff go faster. They're not busy thinking about how to get to a race. They're just sitting there thinking about, I don't know, what can I complain about? So it's it's tough.
Hit the nail on the head with that. What can they complain about? The only way to start any of this is to have a discussion, and to start a discussion is, I think you guys, I didn't get to see most of it. Wish I could have, but where do we scratch the surface on that? There's, as drivers, without sounding like a dick, we hold the power of.
We're the product. I mean, we're the product, plain and simple, right? I mean,
so as us as drivers, you get people. I see people commenting on some of this stuff. I'm like, well, I've been around this stuff for 35 years. I've never heard of you, but you're going to throw your 2 cents in. If it's good, fine. But if you're just throwing it on there to be a dick, we don't have time for that.
Well, here's the thing. Like, give me a solution. Don't give me a problem. Or if you're going to give me the problem, give me what you think a solution could be. Don't just complain. I mean, how can we fix what you're complaining about? Don't just complain. I mean, a good solution, a bad solution, but think of something. You can't just complain. You got to have a solution. It's what it is.
Starts with a conversation and not just an instant argument. Our instant argument's not going to solve nothing. It's just going to turn this or that. Like you just said, if you got something, you got to resolve it, or vice versa.
You guys got me thinking about something good, but before I say anything about that, we had a question from somebody. It's for Tim Kraft. John Eddy wants to know if you got any cream for your rash.
Yeah, I got a helmet for my head.
So I don't know. A week or two ago, there was some comments on there about RJ building boats, Rick building boats, and I don't remember exactly what everything that was said, but it was said that somebody needs to force people to buy new boats. Well, the new boats are there. Like, I don't know. I feel safe in what I have. I guarantee RJ feels safe in what he has. It's time for people to make their own decisions and I don't buy stuff that's going to be safe for them. And I made some comment to that effect, and then there was no comments about what I said, and then all of a sudden they're talking about Snell dates on helmets and this and that. It's like, I don't get these people. The equipment's out there. The stuff's out there. I mean, I ran a helmet with oxygen. I started running it in, I want to say 2000. I mean, it's never been a rule, and it came out. I started running it, and the neck restraints. I mean, you run them, I run them. I mean, it's a personal choice. I didn't really like the neck restraints the first 2 or 3 races I ran it, and then finally I don't know. Now I'm used to it, and nobody likes change.
Right. That's when I got in my boat. Well, the new boat for me, the first time I had something was screwed up and the neck restraint was holding me forward. So I took it off. I felt like I might as well not have had belts, helmet, or anything on without that thing on. And it's like, this is stupid. Fix that problem. You know, I got the airbags in it. I got the neck restraint. And I'm going to get a new helmet this year, too. I'll probably go with air. I don't know. You know, that's still up in the air, but I have the airbag. All that stuff. Do I need them both? You know, can it hurt? No. Do I need them both? No, but I personal opinion, I do, but I think a neck restraint is a no-brainer, honestly.
Well, the problem is a lot of people we race with have to be protected from themselves. You know, I mean, that's a problem, you know, and it's a fixable problem, you know, but ultimately, you know, the people got to make the choice, you know, and like Spencer said, there's equipment out there. Start doing the math of all the European boats, the Rick's boats, my boats that are here in the U.S. You could put a full field out there, you know. And I mean, oh boy, this could turn into a really long show if we talk about all the, you know, the safety things that are out there. You know, I mean, I equate it to rolling up to a current NASCAR race and rolling out, you know, Dale Earnhardt's show car from 1994 and we would let that run, right? You know, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think what happens here. And the problem is we've let it get so far that it's hard to catch back up right now. You know, it's got to be, I guess, baby steps so we don't kill classes, but we've just let it get so far, you know, that it's going to be hard to catch back up to where we're at right now. But, you know, you got to protect yourself from yourself at this point, you know.
Well, and that's the hard part is we used to have, you know, Seabolds in the sport where they're building their boats, and you know, I want to say Tim probably had at least one new boat a year, and he wasn't holding on to all of his boats, so there's people buying Tim's old boats, and you know, the boat count was newer boats that were staying involved and getting recycled, and I mean, I don't know, they started slowing down. Their sponsorship started backing out a little bit, and he wasn't building as many boats, and I don't know, there hasn't been very many boat manufacturers. I don't know exactly, but 10 years probably or more. So I mean, it was nice having people like them that had big sponsors and would buy a new boat every year, and people would buy their old boat and it would help keep the boats newer. And now we're kind of at a point where, I don't know, some people can't necessarily afford a new boat, but they could afford a 2-year-old boat from you or me or somebody, but it's not gotten there yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be quite honest, my boat's up for sale right now, and I don't need to, nor do I really know if I want to sell it, because I'm pretty comfortable in it, and it works really good right now. But I'm trying to sell a boat. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's twofold, but I'm trying to get somebody else in a good, safe boat, you know, and at a lesser price than a new boat. You know, I mean, I don't need a new one, you know, but I could help out by getting somebody, you know, that is in something they shouldn't be in, you know, and get in something safer. So, you know, I mean, I think we're making strides. You know, I really do. I think we're making strides. But you know, we're behind. You know,
Definitely making strides, like you said. I mean, everybody wants to race. I get it. You know, I went from baby steps from what I had to what I have now, and what I had, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's actually newer than the boat I have now, but it's a safe boat. There's enough newer boats out there, like you said, to make a complete field. And I'm not bashing on old boats by any means. It's just, like you said, you can't go to a NASCAR race with a boat from 1994 and expect to enter in the race today.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just it. You know, that's it. So.
Can't.
Like I said, I think we're trying to go in the right way, but I mean, there's obviously a lot of roadblocks at the current moment to get it where we need to. But I think, I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, obviously, we all know what happened in Springfield, but I really think that that's going to stem a wave of safety, you know, and so, you know, it's that that Dale Earnhardt moment. You know what I mean? Honestly, that it's been a long time since someone's been killed in a OPC tunnel boat, and it happened now, and
Since
now all the new guys
97
have seen it. So I think this is going to really spur a wave of safety that's going to be good.
100%. I mean, safety is, paramount. Data is great and all that stuff, but if you can spend money on that stuff, it's Formula One. It's not it's not 45 of racing world. You're going to race these things. They're going a lot faster. You got a lot more potential for danger. You need to step the safety up.
As a boat builder, look, I want my boat to go fast. Obviously that's what you design the boat around is what you think and what you've learned to make it go fast. My number one fear, and it will happen. Look, someone's going to get hurt in my boat, and I'm going to be sick about it. You know what I mean? But we are racing boats, and we are racing together, and one of us is going to hit somebody, and they're going to get hurt, whether it's due to the boat or whatever, safety equipment they have, or just a freak accident, because we are racing. But that is my number one concern when I started tooling what I made was someone's going to sit, and I have to sit in this boat, and someone is going to get hurt in this boat, but I'm going to do everything I can to keep that from happening. And that's all I can do, because in the end we are racing, so it is what it is, but you got to hedge your bet as best you can, so the new stuff is, newer stuff is where we have to go.
Right, 100%. Go to any dirt track on any given Friday night, anywhere in the country. Somebody, unfortunately, is going to get hurt somewhere. Not every night, but it's going to happen. There's steel roll cage. It's racing. There's no prediction to this of what could or might happen.
I posted this on that post that Spencer's talking about, and I bought a new head and neck restraint, and it said, this head and neck restraint is not a substitute for talent or I can't think of the word, but it was a perfect saying. It was experience. This head and neck restraint is not it can't take the place of talent and know-how, basically. So just because you have the stuff, you still gotta kind of be smart. Smart about it. So
and then you gotta learn the talent too. You just can't jump in this, like you said, playing hockey. I played hockey forever. You can't just strap skates on and go out there like, I'm going to play hockey. You got to learn to skate before you can pick a stick up.
That explains your spelling.
Did you play before helmets? Is that the problem? Before they required helmets?
They were leather caps.
And then I still, when Gordie Howe, he was the last one that skated before, he was grandfathered in, and he didn't have to wear a helmet. He was the last one that played hockey without a helmet. It was crazy to watch him out there. It was, I'm from California, so everyone on motorcycles wears helmets. We drive into another state, and I'm like, holy shit, that guy doesn't have a helmet on his bike. Are you kidding me? It is what it is. So
Different world.
Different world.
Just an analogy, you can't jump in one of these things and expect to set the world on fire. It's earned. Like you said,
it's earned. And it's seat time, too.
Right.
That's the other thing that sucks about this year is there's a lot of people that were, missed out on getting to sit in the seat. That's really critical. So
Our season would have ended, 2-3 weeks ago?
What's that?
The season we would have ended 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is we just missed a whole year of racing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we sit there and think about it, it's like I haven't been in a boat for over a year. I haven't been in a boat since Colorado. So for me, it's been over a year since I've been on the water. In a race boat at least.
On the lighter side of that, I was in Colorado during what should have been the race because I already had the vacation, and it was record heat again. We got back home 2 days later. It's snowing. But
We raced in Colorado one time when it snowed up in the hills. It snowed the same weekend we were there. I think you were there, Spence. When they had that big storm come through and it snowed up in the hills there.
Yeah, I was there 1 or 2 of the years. I was there 2 of the years. I might not have been there one of the third year.
Yeah,
So when I started having kids.
Cool. They need a race there. That's way up in the mountains. It's like 8,000 feet, way higher than where we were.
Well, last year we raced at 8,000 feet on the density altitude. The weather was so bad, that's what we ran at, was 8,000 feet.
Yeah, no, 45 boat could have beat me there.
I wouldn't brag about that too much.
Yeah, facts. I can lie about it.
It's a man right there. You bet.
We couldn't figure it out.
Well, you were running on what, 4 cylinders or 3 or something?
I think maybe 2 if I was
2,
lucky.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, whatever. It was
makes sense.
experience. It was hot and it was altitude. It was a whatever. I wasn't in Illinois. It was great.
Well, we're coming up on an hour, I think, now. So if there's anything you guys want to add to close, I mean, I don't know. I feel like none of us had any gloves on tonight, so it was a good night, and it wasn't a joke.
I didn't get to tell my story about when Spencer threw up in my pillowcase or anything, but
Well,
maybe we'll catch that on another.
You can tell that one.
He kept stealing my fucking pillow. We were in the same bed, and I mean, not anything to. And he kept grabbing my pillow, and I was pissed, and he finally whispered in my ear and said, "You don't want your pillow anymore." And it was laying on the ground with a bag full of puke in it.
Yeah, I think we're sharing a room
Your
with.
ear part laying in bed is kind of like,
Well, I had to whisper because we were sharing a room with Bill,
Yeah.
and I didn't want him to get up and beat the crap out of me.
So he quietly threw up in my pillowcase. Maybe you already did yours, so that's why you had mine. But I don't know. All I know is I didn't have a pillow for the rest of the weekend. So
I'd have threw that out in the garbage can. No cleaning that.
this wasn't like your regular hotel. I mean, obviously, if we were sleeping in the same bed, there isn't the best accommodations in
It was in West Virginia. Yeah.
So.
Hotel 6 is what you're saying.
No. Below that, like basically somebody's house, basically.
Oh, you just said West Virginia. All right.
West Virginia, yeah.
You must have been
Yeah.
in Huntington.
I might have been 16.
Hinton.
Jared commented.
Oh. Yeah, Huntington was a fun when it used to be the Marathon Nationals. I remember going to that race. That was rough. Rollers. Rough. It had rough water and rollers from the barge traffic that never stopped on the far side of the river. It would come down the river, and all of a sudden there'd be those rollers. Like there's a barge coming. Sure as hell.
Sounds fun to me. I think what they need to invest in Ohio is a wave maker. It's too flat there. We need something to send wakes across the lake there, get it roughed up into a nice race course.
No, it's
Yeah, it was
called Wake the
definitely a
Lake.
different ball game in that bigger boat than the old boat from last year. It's like, oh, this is like a Cadillac. There's nothing going on out here.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll end it on the Spencer puking in a pillowcase note.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend. I guarantee at least one of us won a nationals that weekend, if not both of us.
I don't know.
Maybe not
I
there,
think
but maybe in Depew.
I almost got in a yeah, you did in Depew. I almost got in a fist fight and inspection in Formula A runabout, so that was pretty cool. I'm not a big fighter. That's one Bill did save me on that one. He curtailed that as quick as possible there, so it was fun. Good weekend.
I think that was the same year that we both had motors we got thrown out for in Depew, and then you went to West Virginia and you had it inspected before the race, and like, oh no, it's good.
Yep, it's the picture right behind you, behind your head, right there.
Yeah.
What year is that?
No, I moved that one over there.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was. I was probably 17 or something.
Yeah.
I only asked because I was looking
Long
at this
time
right
ago.
today and saw pictures.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably 97, if that's the year of West
Go.
Virginia.
I can't remember. You were 16. I figured out the math. It was a year of West
Yeah,
Virginia.
we'll say 97. It was 97.
Sounds
I'll
good to
stick
me.
with that, yeah.
I do remember loading the trailer up in Depew, and that was the hottest I've ever been crawling around on the roof of that thing, sliding all those boats up there. That was absolutely miserable. But the things we do I really will end it on this. The sport we all do, it's like a disease, like a sickness that there is no cure for. We all keep coming back, man. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, that trailer had it was a double decker like stacker on top of the enclosed trailer, and I want to say there was like 7 boats up there.
Yeah. Yep.
I was looking at that picture the other day, the 2 runabouts in the front, the 350 on it,
Yeah.
2 OSYs.
We had Lopez's boat inside, I think. He was going to run Formula E and never did.
Yeah.
I had to take him to the airport when you guys were all running a hydro. Because I had to run Kim's A runabout because she had the cut leg from earlier that's why I ran Formula and A runabout. Good times.
Right on. So it's great having you on tonight. We'll
Thanks, guys.
try to keep some more episodes going to you. I think we've kind of figured out how this thing works. We're boat racers, not tech guys by any means. So until next time, everybody, take it easy.
Thanks, it was fun.